Hi, Angela. It is so nice to see you today. So, I'm here with Angela today. We're talking because I work as a maternity return coach, and Angela is working as, you might want to actually say the title that you give yourself.
Yeah, I'm a mindset and menopause coach.
Mm. And we met in the Business of Coaching group with Joe Lott, and we've been in touch ever since then because we've got so many things in common in terms of running our own businesses, working by ourselves, knowing how the challenges that can bring, but also just in the work that we're doing as well. Although we don't do the same thing, but knowing that there are real crossovers in the work that we do. I wonder, Angela, if it might just be helpful for you to start off by sharing a little bit about how you've come to do what you do, why you do the work that you do.
Yeah,
Is that
sure.
okay?
I'd love to. And thank you for inviting me to chat with you. It's lovely to be here. So yes, absolutely. We're sort of in a similar space in the coaching world, but talking and helping and supporting different women. But actually, there is some crossover as well, which maybe women probably aren't aware of. But so I'm a menopause coach and a mindset coach. And I work with women who are in their perimenopause, predominantly, into women who are postmenopausal. And I do that because of my entry into perimenopause, which started at the age of 42. And I had no idea what was happening to me. And it was nearly 2 years before I worked that out. But of course, I've done myself quite a lot of damage in that 2 years by not understanding what was going on for me, not doing anything about what was happening to me, not understanding the symptoms that were creeping up. And a lot of mine were psychological. So I did have some physical symptoms, but the majority of mine were all in my head. And I suffered real heightened anxiety, real loss of confidence. I just completely hit the floor by the time I was sort of 18 months, 2 years into my perimenopause. But not knowing what was happening to me was my big downfall, really, because it just didn't do anything about it. I was ignoring it. And I think that's the problem. That's why I'm doing this work. This can happen to any woman naturally from her late 30s onwards, which is where I think we cross over a little bit, and women aren't aware of it. I had no idea that you could become perimenopausal at 42. I thought menopause was what happened when you were in your 50s and you might have some hot flushes and your periods would stop. And that's pretty much all I thought I knew. But of course, actually, all the action is happening to women generally in their 40s, maybe mid to late 40s for many, but for a lot of us, it starts in our early 40s. So that's why I do what I do. I don't want women to walk into their perimenopause blindly. I want to help women understand what it means for them and what they can do to support themselves through that time. So I combine helping women understand perimenopause itself and create an action plan. And I combine that with my coaching, specifically with the women who are really struggling with anxiety, confidence, lack of self-belief, imposter syndrome, all of that, all tied up in one. So
And it often is all tied up in one, isn't it? And it's the unpicking
yeah.
what's actually happening. Because if I remembered correctly that you do some sort of, it's not, I don't want to use the word diagnosis, but you do something where,
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not a GP or anything. So and you're not diagnosing anything. This isn't a disease. It's a natural transition that we all go through, and it's when we're going from a fertile stage of life to a non-fertile stage of life, which means we're losing our eggs, and that's when we go into menopause, when our eggs have run out and we become non-fertile. So yes, I help women use a menopause symptom checker so that you can understand what symptoms you're actually experiencing, many of which women have no idea what those symptoms are that could be related to perimenopause. So things like tinnitus or dry eyes, dry flaking skin, losing your hair, they can all be related, but we can put that down to stress or allergies or, and heightened allergies is a symptom. So yes, we use the symptom checker and I do a menopause consultation. So we use what comes out of that checker and create an action plan for you, whether that's lifestyle changes, whether that's going to your GP and getting your HRT, whatever you choose is what's
Mm.
right for you, but understanding your choices is what I'm all about.
Absolutely. And as you're saying that, I mean, that's what I believe coaching is all about, isn't it? Is that, and that's probably why there's a lot of crossover in what we're doing in terms
Yeah,
of just raising that self-awareness. And I also think there's something about the work that there's so many reasons why I think we cross over. First is the sort of obvious one where I think that, women are having children later. So
yeah,
actually, I'm finding that at the point of women returning to work, they may be in their kind of late 30s, early 40s. And it could be that at that same point, they might be starting to go through perimenopause. So there's that sort of the timeline is
yeah.
getting closer together.
It
And
really is, and I think that is the quite an important point. Is that most women will just completely dismiss the menopause conversation because so many of us relate it with being in your 50s. So if you're in your late 30s or early 40s and have just had a child, it's just not going to enter your head that perimenopause could even be close because you're still thinking, well, I've just had a child, I'm still fertile, I'm nowhere near. But you can still fall pregnant when you are perimenopausal. So if it only takes one egg, right? So you can still have a baby and be perimenopausal already. So there is a real crossover that we're just not linking up.
yeah, and as you're saying that, I think like it feels like there's this sort of emergence of knowledge and information and myths being busted about entering the menopause, and also I think about having children and returning to work as well, in the work that I find, where
Mm.
there's sort of like this story in both of those situations that is kind of, we've been doing this for years, just get on with it.
Yeah,
Like that, just kind of like, just get on with it, don't worry about it. And I feel like this work around just raising awareness and all, the sort of picking apart like what's really going on here rather than just trying to get through it and like entering into survival mode
yeah.
can make all the difference, can't it?
Absolutely. And I really do think that it's such a damaging message that we often give to ourselves. Well, I've just got to go and get on with it. Or, well, I've always been able to do it, so I should still be able to do it.
Yeah,
And it's not that you're not able to do it. You might just have to do it a little bit differently. And ideally in an organization that is offering that support, that understands what women are going through in these phases, that are also now crossing over, the importance of the information, the learning, the understanding, being empathetic to women, not sympathizing, but showing empathy towards what's actually happening to them physically and mentally while they still want to be able to continue in amazing careers.
yeah. And when you were just saying that about, I can still do this, often as well, there's oh, she's still doing it. She's still doing it. Like looking around and this kind of comparison to like, is
Mm.
so, it happens so often in coaching sessions with women who are returning to work,
Yeah.
where it's a kind of, it's almost like a feeling of, it's a shame of, I shouldn't say that I'm struggling, or I shouldn't even really ask for any help because they're doing it, they're able to do it. Why aren't I able to do this? And the amount of times when I say to people, do you know, like, you're the fourth person that I've had this conversation with this week, or just even that of kind of like, you're not alone. Not everyone is just doing it. And I think it's that, as soon as somebody says, God, I'm finding this really hard actually. And it's like, it is hard. That just acknowledging that it's hard because it's hard, not because you're flawed, not because there's something wrong
Absolutely.
with you. It's just a really hard time. And there's something in that, isn't there? Which is, do you find that as well?
Totally. And what I wanted to pick up on what you just said there was the word should.
Mm.
Oh, we all use the word should, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've literally only had this conversation this morning, but I have tried to ban it from my vocabulary because there is no should. We might want to do things, we can do things, but we shouldn't have to do anything. We shouldn't have to feel any way other than the way we feel.
Yeah.
And that's okay, and understanding that. And that's where I think that comparison comes in, because they do it and it looks good to you and it looks impressive to you. You feel like you should be able to do it. But what's right for them isn't necessarily what's right for you. And that's a conversation that comes up a lot in the coaching that I do. It's let's just focus on you, because what they're doing really doesn't matter. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes over there.
Yeah. I love that. And when you start to notice how often, it's interesting, isn't it? If you set that as something to do, of like, right, I'm just going to see how often am I saying the word should. And then when you
Mhm.
start noticing and seeing when it's coming up, and I love that as well, having that, here's an alternative that you can use. And it just changes how you are, how you feel about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there was something in what you'd said there as well about, I guess I'm always quite interested in the different types. There's so many different types of coaching, of coaches, different types of approaches. And I think as a new coach, that can be quite like daunting, can't it? Where you're sort of, oh, where do I fit into all of this? And the way that, so where I've come to now is that my approach to coaching is quite different to like executive coaching, to leadership coaching, the coaching that I offer. And I think that we're similar. So I'm interested to say if I sort of share
Mm.
how I approach coaching, and I'm hearing it in what you're saying here about the empathy part. So my approach to coaching is that this is an offer. It's not obligatory. It's not to fix something, and it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because this is a hard moment in time, and here's some support. And then the coaching work itself, there will be topics like, actually, I'm finding this really difficult in terms of my confidence, or I'm just finding it difficult to make decisions. There's so many of them, dealing with overwhelm. Those sort of themes do tend to come up. But a lot of the work is in just providing a safe, trusted space where you can talk all of this through and think all of this through. And I think also there is something just in what we were saying a minute ago about acknowledging that you're not the only person experiencing this. You're not alone. It's not something that is only happening to you. And with that, I was thinking about how useful I find it that because I am a mum and because I have returned to work and I've had that experience, I think that is really useful in terms of building relationships with my clients. Obviously, there is this thought in coaching that you don't need to have experienced what your clients have experienced. Sometimes it can actually be a really positive thing not to have experienced it because you'll come from a different perspective, which I also do agree with. You don't have to
Yeah.
experience every single thing that your clients have experienced. But I do think there is a value where I think that people that I coach do come to me because I'm a mum sometimes, because I'm a parent, because I've returned to work. And there is something about, you just get it. So I don't have to explain like my whole experience. Does that make sense? Do you feel the
Oh,
same?
completely and utterly resonate with everything you have just shared. All of them, all of the clients I have worked with, I believe have come to me because I share so openly my story and my background, and in whatever way that has resonated with them. And so they feel like they know me, they feel like they can trust me, we can have an open conversation. They are able to ask me anything that they want to ask me, and I will openly share with them if they want to hear. And that makes them feel safe and it makes them feel heard. And they know that they are talking to someone who gets it. So, like you say, I'm not there to give them any advice. And if they want the advice, they can have the menopause consultation. That's what the menopause consultation is for. I'm able to give you that knowledge if you want it. But in the coaching space, that's their space to be whoever they are, whoever they want to be in that moment. That's for them to be truly them. And I'm here to listen to them and to support them and to challenge them and to celebrate them and go on the journey together. And so, yeah, I completely resonate. I do think for most women, it's their journey. So I can't resonate with everything that they have gone through. They have a whole life that they've led, and I don't need to understand all of that. That's not what I'm there to do. But the fact that we have this thing in common that's drawn her to want the coaching in the first place, That's the important nugget. That's what makes you feel like you're building a relationship together where you can work and you can be truly open and honest with yourself because you know that the person looking back at you gets it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think it's about sharing appropriately, isn't it? I think you don't want to sort of take up the space, like you say, that belongs to them and their story. But equally, as I'm saying this, I'm like, oh, I think as a new coach, sort of back when I first started coaching, I think I struggled with that element, like a lot of new coaches do as well, with the whole sort of, oh, here's some advice. It's like, like, no, we're not here for that. But then I think almost I went the other way where I didn't share anything.
Yeah.
But that's not really, coaching is so much about relationship, isn't it?
It is about
And
the
I think
relationship.
there are moments when it is appropriate. If somebody is really struggling or feeling very alone or feeling very ashamed,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much power, I think, in just being able to say, do you know what? I felt like that.
Yeah,
Totally
absolutely.
understand where you're coming from. And just that is a kind of, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not just
You can
me.
feel it, can't you? You can feel the
Yeah.
release, the shoulders go, and yeah, that is a relief to know. And I do think that for a lot of women, you know, they understand what a coach is there for. We always explain that before we go into a coaching relationship. We're not there to tell you what to do. We're not there to give you advice. We're there to draw out of you what's already in there that you're struggling to find for yourself. But at the same time, if you want to hear my thoughts, well, you can ask me. I'm not going to share them with you unless you ask me. But if you ask me, yeah, of course, I'll happily share whatever is going to help you move forward in the way that works for you. That's the important thing, I think.
That it's always keeping in mind, isn't it? Is this useful? What's this person going to do with this information? Is it useful for me to share? It's completely different to just you and I having a conversation and me going, no, what you mean? Me too. I feel the same way. Like that's not the same.
Yeah.
But I think having that shared experience where it was like, would it be useful if I just shared with you common theme that I hear come up in coaching? Would it be useful if I just shared with you? There's a story, something that happened to me a few years ago that would really, I think that can be useful sometimes. And then it's but how did you feel listening to that?
Yeah.
It's the what you do with that then, rather than just like, oh, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
Yeah. So I think it can be useful to have that shared experience with your clients.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking then, why do I think it's useful? And I think it is useful because when you think that you're the only person struggling with something, that does build shame, guilt, isolation, not wanting to share, not wanting to talk. And then that in turn stops you from being able to ask for help or even identify to yourself that I need some help here, or what could I do for myself? Because you're just dealing with the day to day, got to just get through, got to just survive. Where I think there is something just in that very small shift of like, oh, this is something that lots of people,
Yeah,
it's happening with lots of people,
absolutely.
it's not just me.
Yeah, and I hope it's okay that I share, but that's why I created the program that I've created, because in that we get this one-to-one coaching time that we've been discussing, but alongside that, they're part of a community of other women. And we have monthly masterclasses where they learn about different aspects that affect you as you're going through your perimenopause into postmenopause. And they get to share their experiences with other women if they want to. And that it's a really nice balance of being able to have that one-to-one coaching space where we can keep within that coaching realm and make sure that that is exactly what you're getting, what you're paying for, and what you need. And we can have that additional sharing piece that allows you to understand that you are really not alone in this. It's
Yes,
very
I've
powerful.
experienced that in group settings as well, where actually as a facilitator, the work is kind of just bringing the conversation back, or like picking up on what people are bringing. But there's so much, isn't there, where somebody will say, oh, do you know, I'm really struggling with this. And then somebody else might say, oh, do you know, I find that as well. And then somebody else might say, oh, do you know what I did? And then it's kind
Exactly.
of, and you can take or leave that and do whatever you want with it. But yeah, there's definitely so much power in
Yeah.
feeling that you're not alone, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And understanding what coaching setting is right for you and who is the right coach for you, and just knowing what you want to get out of it. I think they're really important questions to ask yourself when you're walking into a coaching relationship.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so how might people come across you, Angela? Like, where would they find you? How can people get in touch with you?
So I'm always on LinkedIn. That's probably where you'll find me the most. Just search my name, Angela Wilkins-Green, and I will come up. And my website is greenpathcoaching.com. I'm also on Instagram, but I spend most of my time on LinkedIn.
Always, but most.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else that you want to add before we close the conversation?
I just think speaking to the women that we both talk to is just do your research. Make sure you don't close your ears to the menopause conversation. Let the information in, even if you are, a woman in your mid-30s and you're just starting your family, which is a very exciting time. Just be open to what the future is going to bring you. Perimenopause is not something to be scared of. Embrace it, embrace the conversation, embrace the learning, and you will find it much, much easier.
Oh, that's lovely. And like, yeah, knowledge is power, isn't it? And self-awareness, adding on to that as well, and recognizing the symptoms, really important.
Really important. Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time, Angela. It's been great to talk to you. I'm sure we'll do it again another time
Thank you
as
so
well.
much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.